Hi guys, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to learn, we are going to create this functionality that is a dragging functionality to make any element draggable like this. So let's do it. First of all, here I'm going to create a span. Here is the span. In this span, I'm going to write the text and we will drag this element, this span. Here is drag it, and now here I'm going to give it id drag, and then we have to show the messages in other span like this. Here is dragging stop, so here is this span, and in this span we will show the messages, and here is the id. I'm gonna give it feedback. It is okay and it is fine. And now what we need to do, we have to apply the jQuery user interface code, and here you see that I have already included in the previous lecture jQuery user interface. And first of all, I want to apply it on the first span who have the id drag dot draggable. Here is this is the draggable, and here is, so now first write these parentheses, then these brackets, and in these brackets we have to write its attribute. And now at this time, let's check it. Here you see that it is draggable, we can drag it, but when we leave it, so it will stay at its point, it is not going back to its direction. And here you see that we can take it anywhere. The page is scrolling, here you can see that. So in this way, this is the wrong. Here you can see that we can take it anywhere on the above. And now first of all, we have to give it the attribute containment. Here is containment. So what is the containment? Containment define its field. Like here you can see that we can take it anywhere, like here it is hidden here. So if it have not any boundary, so if we give it the boundary like this, document, here is document, so now it is only inside the document. Here is, now here you see that we cannot take it or here you see that we cannot take it behind this bar. And here you can see that now we can only I'm dragging this thing, but we cannot take it anywhere off the screen. So now this white screen is its border, this is the document, and now this is its border. And now this is the first property, and we can also give it many values, like here is window, and when we give the window property, so uh, here you see that we can take it here behind this bar. Here you can see that this is a bar, we can take it behind here you can see that it is little bit behind this line. And here you can see that, so window is just window and document is just equal, but the document is more accurate and window is not accurate. And the next attribute that I'm going to give it, you can also give it the parameters, like we can drag this element 20 pixel left, 20 pixel top, 20 pixel right. You can define its area. So how we can do it, we have to remove these double quotes, and we have to give all the 4 attributes like this. First of all, the first value that we can put here is for the left side, how many pixels we can drag from the left side. Then we can give the value from the top side, how many pixels we can drag from the top side, and then how many pixels we can drag from the right side, and here is the bottom side. So in this way we have to give the values in the sequence. Here is, I'm going to write 200 pixel from the left side, and we don't need to write px with it, just write 200 values direct, and then from the top side 300, then from the right side here is 0, and bottom side is also 0. So now let's refresh it, and now here is, and here we have not give the coordinates in the correct form, so that is, here I'm going to make it 0 0, because now it will move in the correct direction, we can understand it. Here is, you can see that this is the right side, we can move in the right side 200 pixels. So now here you can see that I cannot move more from this. Here you can see that this is the line, here is its end, here you can see that, and on the bottom side we can move only 200 pixel. Here you can see that I cannot drag it more, here you can see that it is blocked here. So from the left side, on the left side we can move only 0, and the top side 0, and the right side and the bottom side is 200 pixel. So now in this way you can also give these values, and if you want to give, and here if now I'm going to just write document like this. And now the next property that we can give is the opacity. When we are moving it, here what we need to do, here is this and this, and we can write here the comma, and then here is opacity, and here is, we can write the opacity in between these quotes. You can write double or single quotes. Here I'm going to write 0.5 opacity, and then this span element is become transparent. Here you can see that when we move it, so here it is transparent. We can give it the value from the 0.1 to the 1.0. When we give the 1.0, so it is completely clear. Here you can see that it is completely clear, but if we reduce its value to the 0.123, so it is transparent. Here I'm going to give 0.2, so it is almost completely transparent. Here you can see that it is transparent. And now this is the property that we can give, and the next property that we can give is the cursor. And here what we can give is the cursor property. When we move it, when we drag it, so we can change the cursor. Here you can see that this is just like a line, but we can also change this cursor symbol. Here is, we have to give the cursor, and if we give the pointer, so it will become a pointer. It is hand, like hand. Here you can see that when we move it, so it will become a hand. It is the hand. And we can also give it other value, cross. Here is cross here, and check it. Here is, you see that this is the cross here, plus sign. And here I'm just write this value in the pointer, because we can also give the pointer, so that's why I have write it in the comment. And after here is the comma, because we have to write the next property. The next property that we can give it, we can give it the revert. So what is the revert? When we leave the element, so it will go to its original direction. That is this property, revert is equal to true. So now when we leave it, here you can see that when we leave it, so it will go to its previous direction. Here you can see that, or here is, so now that is the revert. If we give it false, so it will not go to its previous direction. And here is, you can see that, so here you see that when we leave it, so it will go to its previous direction falsely. But we can also fix its speed. How we can fix it? We have to give revert duration. Here is duration, and D is capital, duration D is capital, and here we can give the values in the milliseconds. 3000 milliseconds mean 3 seconds. 1000 millisecond is equal to 1 second. So here I'm gonna give 2000 milliseconds, that is equal to 2 seconds. Here is this, and here you can see that it will take 2 seconds and it is slow. And now the next thing that you can give it here is, like, here I'm going to define it axis. So what is the axis? Axis is just like in which direction you want to move. If we write x-axis, so you can move the element only in the x-axis. Here now, here you see that I'm not able to move it up down. Here you can see that I'm not able to move. We can only move into the x-axis. Here you can see that in the horizontal direction, and it will go back to its original path. And if we write the y-axis, so now it will only move in the y-axis. It is not going to move. Here you can see that it is not moving in the x-axis, and now it is okay. And if we don't give any value, so it will move in the both directions. And here is, I'm gonna write other value, that is, here I'm gonna make it in the comment because we don't need it right now. Here is this, and we can also put other value. Here is or, here is x. So in this way you can I have just add the comment, you can put x or y at the time. So now it is in the comment. And now the next property that we can put is nothing. So it is prepared. Here you can see that it is prepared totally. And but when we will drag it, so here the text is appear. Here you can see that dragging, it is dragging. And when we leave it and when it is stop, it is dragging stop. So for this we have other callback functions here. So I'm gonna put those functions, like here is, here I'm gonna make it in the comment. And here is, first of all, the first function that we can the first callback function that we can paste here is the start. Here is the start, this is the callback function of the start. Here we have to make it here, and here is this at this point. And now here is its parenthesis. And now this is the start function, this is the name of the function, and here is the function. When we start the dragging the element, so a text is appear, we can write the text in this span. So here is this, here is dollar, here is hash feedback dot text, we can add the text. Here is start dragging, and here is, and now here you see that, refresh it. So now here you see that start dragging, we have add the text, and this text is inside the div, and it is added when we start dragging the element. But now when we are dragging, we can add another function. Here is another function. When we are dragging, we can use this function. Here is the comma to separate it. Here is the drag is the name of the function. This is the callback function. Here is, and here is this. And here what we need to do, we have to add this thing. So now here is dragging. In the div we will print only one thing, dragging. This function will execute when we are dragging the element span, and this function will execute, and this text is printed inside the string. So now at the start, when we start it, so the start dragging function, start dragging will be print in the div, but then we are dragging it, so that's why the text is overwrite, and now we are dragging. And here is at the end, here is at the end we can also add another function that is added when the dragging stop. Here is stop when here is the function, and now here is this, here is dragging stop, or you can write stop dragging when we stop dragging it. And here you see that dragging, and when it is stopped, stop dragging. And this text is not shown because the text is overwrite when we start the dragging, so this text will be printed, but in the milliseconds because we are dragging, so this text will be printed and the previous one is overwrite. You can use the append function here, append function, to add the text. So thank you for watching this lecture. If you have any problem, so kindly add the discussion. I will help you as much as I can. See you in the next lecture.